Pope Francis died yesterday. And what does that mean for the Catholic Church? And what does that mean going forward? We're also going to take a look at today the prophecy from Saint Malachy of Peter the Roman. I don't know if you've heard about this, but it's a prophecy that was recorded about 900 years ago. And could it reach fulfillment with the next pope that is in line? You can take it for what it is, but we're going to take a look at it. And also, I want to look at Tim Pool, his analysis and breakdown of this topic, because he goes through it in depth, and I put a link to his video in it, and I've seen a lot of Tim Pool videos, and this one, it was very, very concise, 10 minutes long. He does it like segments throughout the day. It was very good, and I've watched a lot of Tim Pool videos, so you should check out that video. But after this one, my name is Brandon Fogel. This is Evolution. Let's dive into it. So, the prophecy of Peter the Roman. So, this man, Saint Malachy, about 900 years ago, wrote this prophecy, and it was of a line of popes that were going to have fulfillment and come into existence through the succession of Peter in the Catholic Church. And it looks like it is reaching its fulfillment at this point right now. And I'm actually going to show you a book I read. I've read a few of these books. It was by Chris Putnam and Thomas Horn, if you've ever heard of them. Chris Putnam, he has actually passed away since writing this, but they wrote a lot of books about this topic, talking about the rise of the final pope and all this. I know it can be sensationalism in a lot of ways. It can always just lead to just sensationalism, and that's all it is. I mean, take it for what it is. This prophecy that was written by Saint Malachy, it's not in the Bible. It's not recorded as the Word of God. So, I mean, but it is still interesting and to say the least. And when you actually go through this, so I would point people to those books, because if anything, they're a very fun read to hear about this. And they go into depth about everything that's happening and that's going to happen from that prophecy and everything that is set up. But it seemed like it was going to reach fulfillment with the recent pope. So I got, and then that didn't happen. So, I mean, it could be just hogwash, as we're going to hear from Tim Pool. He goes through it in detail of what that prophecy was and his understanding of it and how he interprets it. But then he just says it's hogwash. And it could very well be just that. But to say the least, it is very interesting. Now, my views on this, I would not say I am firm and this is how it is at all, because as a Christian, there's been many times where we always want to believe that we are the final generation. Jesus is coming back in our time. And I had a lot of hype built up in my life, in my mind, in a lot of ways early on. And then it's kind of just floundered and just kind of burnt out, but I think every generation has seemed to have that. Jesus' own generation had that. The apostles seemed like it was happening then, and now we're 2,000 years later, and it still hasn't happened. But to me, it's just kind of crazy with the advancement in technology. That is like the craziest thing within our generation, how many different things have come along in such a quick amount of time. And what we were talking about in the 90s, where I was like watching Terminator and all that, and all those things that like seemed like that was so crazy in the distant future. There's no way that could happen. There's no way that people could, like, if you were Dick Tracy, ever watched that movie, people were looking at their phone and seeing somebody and watching them and like being able to talk. Like, we have that now. You could say we almost have flying cars. We have self-driving cars. And now with AI really on the scene, it's kind of a little bit scary, but I mean, to me, it's never really scary. I talk about this to certain people, my wife, and she doesn't like to hear about that, like that kind of crazy stuff. It seemed kind of crazy and scary to her. To me, it's like, it's entertaining. It's like, one, it could be true because we are seeing these crazy mind-boggling things happening, but it's also, it's like, it's startling that it's all happening and coalescing. It seems like it is almost fulfillment and prophecy. You could take it to biblical. In the Daniel chapter 12, it does talk about there will be like almost this boom of intelligence that happens right at the very end. And it seems like there was just a an onslaught of intelligence that just got put in our laps as just people of the world right now. All right, but we're going to take a look at, and so Tim Pool, he goes through this, he's going through like what the prophecy was, and he outlines it, but then he ends it with, that's silly, but it also could give us cause to pause that now that AI superintelligence is about to be thrown in our lap in the next couple years.
So people are going to apply it however they want to apply it. But it is interesting to hear because of this. AI superintelligence could be 2 years away. End of days. Guys, it's the apocalypse. Let me tell you, if you've not been paying attention to what this means, I think humans largely are marching blindly into oblivion with AI. Now, maybe it's not bad. I don't know that it's good, but it will be the end of humans as we know it.
Okay, so that's a pretty strong statement by Tim, and he doesn't go with the prophecy having any really true substance, because and I get that. It is kind of weird how that this saint made this prophecy, and then it's like you can go through the exact timeline of them all, and now that it is coming to the very, very final one right now, it is kind of crazy. But it could just be that's just Nostradamus, but even that guy, could there have been prophecies that happened after the apostles, after the prophets? And it's maybe your viewpoint on the Catholic Church and are they the truth of Christianity on earth? Is the Pope the actual vicar of Christ, the representative of Christ on earth? I'll leave that to you to discuss and think about. But either way, they are Christians. Catholics are Christians. They are people that believe in Jesus, and I don't agree with everything that they view on every part of doctrinal issue and salvation and how salvation is passed along to us and how we get it and how we receive it. Those little issues that seem insignificant, but they could be major, depending on who you ask. But either way, it is interesting that this prophecy was given to us and given through the church. This guy that was in the church wrote this out in this long prophecy of pope after pope after pope, and now we get to this final one, and that is about to be given to us. And they say there is 9 popes that are in the running. There's gonna be this time of mourning for the pope that he has now passed away, but then they are going to start going to Vatican City and start getting ready to decide or declare who is the next pope. And out of the 9, there is speculation. There is 3 of them are named Peter. And that is the prophecy. The final pope will be called Peter the Roman. He will be the one that will be in the spot of the vicar of Christ when this hell is unleashed on the earth and all that happens. It's interesting to say the least. And the way that Tim takes it, he throws that all out. He did that is kind of hogwash, bananas. It's not real. But he can't just say that something weird is happening with AI superintelligence. AI superintelligence, it is increasing exponentially. Like superdrive. It is hyperdrive for everyone. That we are getting to witness it. Could AI just completely disrupt our way of life? I think there's no question that it is, and it has, and I should say in a good way. I love AI. But that might be until they got me plugged in and I'm a battery. At that point, maybe I won't like it. I don't know. There would have to be something supernatural for AI to have some power and influence in this world as into the end of times, because all they are is just robots. All they are is just a computer, ones and zeros, the Matrix, all that kind of stuff. There would have to be something supernatural that would almost have to plug into AI to turn it evil. And if you've ever seen the movie Megan, this little girl, she's a robot, but she's evil. And it's like, how does she become evil? If AI would have some type of power and influence on the direction and making this our humanity, us going to war with AI, there would have to be something evil component of it, I would say. And it's not saying that that's not out there, because we know that Satan, there is a devil. There is. People don't want to believe that, but we can't escape the reality that there is evil. And my understanding, my belief in it, there is something behind the scenes that is there influencing people to do evil. And there is one being that is in charge of it all. I mean, that kind of seems crazy, but and you might not agree with that, but it's there either way. It's there either way. And could it somehow join itself with AI and somehow take over, somehow seep in? I don't know. That's the only way I could, because I don't see a robot just desiring to harm humanity. I don't see a robot just by itself desiring to harm humanity, but could something underneath the surface join itself to AI and then something just erupt and break out? To me, this could be something with Peter the Roman, and maybe that's just the person in me that just longs for Jesus to come back. We are longing for that day. And and it sounds terrible, but that there is something in me, and I know that's out with everybody else. It's like there is that sensational attitude that we want something crazy to happen. We want something, because this life is so boring and mundane. We want to be involved in something significant. And if that is the end of the end of days in the apocalypse, we want to make ourselves special. I find that all the time, that I want to make myself special, that I had to be born at the time that Jesus was going to come back. I had to be born at the time all this stuff was going to hit the fan and just everything was going to break out. Jacob's trouble, whether you believe in the rapture and all that. But either way, it's very interesting that this prophecy is finally reaching its fulfillment. And after this pope, there is no question. It's either the prophecy's bunk or there might have been something to it. So I leave that with you. All right, keep going and keep evolving to that best version of you.